Welcome back, everybody. GSL Code S Group B is continuing on. Stats, the first player to advance from this group to, I think, pretty much everyone's surprise. And now in the elimination match, Dark versus Bunny. Two of the best GSL players over the past, I don't even know how many years. One of them will be knocked out first in this group. And I honestly can't believe it, Gemini. This has been truly something incredible.
Yeah, this is not the losers match that we were expecting going into this. I mean, we thought it was going to be swapped. The winners match was supposed to be losers, and the losers was supposed to be the winners. I mean, this is kind of crazy that we have a situation now. We have actually found the one universe in the infinite multiverses where Dark might actually lose out 0-2.
Yeah, we were joking about it coming into this one. It's like, maybe there's a way. I'm like, one of the multiverses, yeah, Dark will lose, but we're not living in that one, Gemini.
Surely not.
Surely not, but I mean, maybe. If anyone in this group can do it, I mean, I guess Stats could do it.
I guess
could
like
also
everyone can.
do it.
I guess Dark just stinks now. He's terrible. I don't know.
He's washed.
Yeah.
Phone him in, man.
Get Rainer and Cyril over here. We need more Zergs, man.
Yeah, I gotta say, I am floored by the way this group has played out. Both Stats and Classic were out of their minds in the first two series to start off the day, and now Dark versus Bunny. I mean, Bunny, every single GSL, I'm like, okay, this guy's going to get top 8 or he's going to get top 4 at this point. Like, if he gets top 16, I think that's a bad performance for him. You know, my expectation for Bunny is that he is going to do better than that. Despite the fact that he's kind of been overshadowed by Kieran, by Maru here in Korea, he is one of the best Terran players in the world. Certainly top 5, in my opinion. And the fact that either him or the best Zerg in Korea are going to get knocked out now? In the first group, this isn't the round of 8, this is the round of 16. I have a hard time wrapping my head around it. This is absolutely crazy, but
I mean, it's the same thing for Dark as well, though, where it's like, if you would never expect him to bow out at this stage of the tournament. You're always expecting him to get to round of 4 at least, it feels like. Like, he's the one that's essentially going for the championship every single time. If he's not there, it's like, oh, wow, that's kind of crazy. So, I mean, for him to die out at this point as well is also super crazy. So, this series is not what we expected, and there's a very good reason for that, and because we are going to be surprised no matter what happens with this.
Well, one of these players, Dark or Bunny, will be eliminated from the GSL Code S this season. This is the elimination match. The winner will go on to fight against Classic. Let's get started. Set number 1 here on Alciety. Spawning in the top right as the blue Zerg. Bunny in the bottom left, the red Terran.
Now, going into this game, it's actually kind of interesting because these two players actually play each other in the qualifiers for GSL as well. They did play against each other, and surprisingly, you might be surprised to know that Bunny actually won their match, and that actually qualified him straight into GSL, where Dark had to play again in the losers bracket. And it was actually a totally crazy series, since the GSL replays are up on the Patreon, which you can get by a measly $10 subscription. If you would like, you can get all of those replays yourself to look at. I looked at those as well, and it was actually incredible. On this map specifically was game number 1 as well, and it was an actually insane game. It was a 50-minute, literally all minerals mined out game. Dark was able to win at the end. It was a total ridiculous game. Literally every single resource mined. So he then morphed everything into spore crawlers and had a 199 maxed army, and eventually won in just the most insane game you've ever seen. Then we go into game number 2, Site Delta. You want to know what Bunny does?
What does Bunny do?
Sends 2 barracks right across the map in Dark's natural and wins and kills his hatchery.
I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing.
Game's over in less than 10 minutes. I literally laughed out loud when I saw it. I was like, in my head thinking about it, like, there's a possibility that he just does this the next game after that insane game that I've just never seen a game like that. And then he just did it. And I was just like, oh my God, that's incredible. That's the most Terran thing I've ever seen.
Don't work hard, work smart. That's Bunny's MO, man. You think about the wins per minute right there. Way higher for Bunny than
the
Dark.
WPM.
WPM.
Not the words per minute, his typing speed. It's actually the wins per minute. How many times can he cheese out a Zerg and get a filthy dub?
I'm telling you, if I had to play a late game against Dark, I would probably do the same thing. Proxy 3 gates right in the natural expansion. Like, you know what?
Do the flower.
Die by the sword. All right, well, first Reaper coming out here for Bunny. Getting some nice kiting here as the Queen, a bit slow to pop. Also slow to attack that Reaper as those Zerglings very bruised there on the high ground. And worth noting that this is not the same opening we saw from Maru in day 1 of the GSL last week. This is Barracks on the high ground, just a single Reaper, so not too much in terms of scaling with this infantry, and Dark knows it, so he's pulling out this Queen. Gonna shoo this Reaper away from that 3rd base expansion is, you know, any damage you can mitigate on there. You know, should Bunny go for a not a 3-base timing, but a 2-base timing and try to hone in on the 3rd base of Dark, you want that hatchery to be on as high hit points as possible to buy yourself the maximum amount of time. Now coming to the main base, not quite able to get a drone, so about as vanilla as it gets in terms of Reaper Micro. Up until we really saw the Yun build start to gain popularity, this was kind of the MO for Reapers for what felt like years, where they would poke in, they would damage some lings, and that would be pretty much all of it.
Interesting.
And, wow, hey, look at that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bunny's actually going for something a little bit different. He actually did go for, he's not going for a normal 1113 CC style, which you normally see out of the Terran players. He went actually for a faster second gas, and is now using that to get a fast Banshee. He actually had Cloak researching there, but it looks like he canceled it. He looks like he was just trying to mind game in case a Ling came in to scout that. So it's not actually going to be for the Cloak, but he is still going for that extra gas income and not a 3rd CC. It's going to be extra barracks on the follow-up after this initial Hellion Banshee pressure. So it looks like he might be trying to gear up himself for some sort of very heavy 2-base aggression, which is very on point for Bunny. This is the style that he really does like to employ. It's this very aggressive 2-base style. He will always try to mix this in any series, it feels like. So this is definitely on the cards what we could be expecting. Even more barracks getting put down there. This is absolute pure Bunny right here.
Yeah, 5 barracks, the late engineering bay will be a +1 timing, more likely than not. Oof, with a miscontrol there on Banshee, taking more hull damage than needed. And Dark, so far, not really sensing any danger. He's continuing to drone up. He did make a handful of roaches just in case Bunny came out with something crazy like a big Hellion run by. But his drone count is healthy. He's gearing up to take that 4th hatchery. He has started his lair and taking 2 additional geysers, bringing him up to 4 gas in total, as well as double evolution chamber. Now, the double evo is a little bit scary for me, Gemini, because Bunny is gearing up for this 2-base aggression with 5 barracks. Should he time out that aggression with +1, it's going to be a minute before Dark actually has his 1-1 upgrades complete out of those evolution chambers. So the 2 drones that go into making those structures, the minerals and the gas invested, is going to be less units that Dark has on the board when the push really starts to kick into high gear.
It's kind of interesting as well on this map, just because of the fact that it's kind of unique where the bottom side is essentially all blocked off by minerals or small rocks. And so being able to take a 4th base on that side as Dark is pretty good for him, because it allows then for any sort of really big parade push on 2 bases from the Terran. It's all funneled into one area, right? You can't really easily get to that 4th base. What it does lead, though, is for potential drop play to be coming out before the actual push happens. So that might be what Bunny tries to go for, or he could just even lift up everything over, kill off those little rocks even in between the gold base, and still find a way to funnel through to the low ground, because there is still that high ground position, the low ground position underneath next to those minerals, where you can really stick a couple tanks under there. And I mean, Bunny is someone that just absolutely loves going for these early tank plays with the bio as well. So there's a lot of potential for this push.
Dark doesn't have link speed.
What?
He just started link speed. Bailing Nest also just started. He wanted to hold on with his roach composition, but he does not have link speed. I'm not sure how he's going to be able to hold on. There's no way to get the splash damage to the siege tanks onto the roaches, so Bunny now pushing up. There is a good arc here on top for Dark. Bios are raining down, not really able to connect with anything except for the Banshee, and the Bios just stimming forward. Dark, his supply is high, but that's because he has 14 roaches in production. It's not on the board just yet. Drones are getting pulled. 3 have already gone down. The Queens get pushed to the side, and Bunny is continuing to stim to win right now. Drones fully surrounding the Marines, and yes, they are on very low HP, but the economic damage that Dark is succumbing to right now is massive. I mean, I didn't even notice he didn't have link speed. He's trying to hold on with just these roaches. He is getting on the takes. I mean, to Dark's credit, this control has been phenomenal this far, given the hand that he has been dealt. He will eventually be able to push this back, but 49 drones now to the 42 SCVs. That was scary. That was a very scary engagement. Now on 3 tech labs, Bunny is starting to pump Marauders. He's getting concussive shell.
I'm amazed that he held.
Yeah, that was surprising.
That was insane. I thought he was just dead.
I mean,
he looked like he was about to get absolutely wiped off the map. All his drones were getting completely eviscerated. The surround wasn't even a surround. The bios were barely connecting with anything. The tank stood alive for so long. And now he's actually in, not, I mean, still lost 20-something drones or whatever, so it's not like the most amazing position ever, but it's like, I mean, he can absolutely leverage this into later in the game.
It's crazy that you see link speed finishing about the same time as 1-1.
I like how link speed finished right as the push was pushed back as well. It was just like, now I have link speed after everything is dead.
Yeah, I wonder if that actually was intentional here for Dark.
He was going Roach Ravager anyways as his defense, right?
It's just so rare to see link speed delayed this much, you know? I mean, if you have to deal with double drops, for instance, it's hard to deal with that with just roaches, especially if there's some Marauders getting dropped with the Marines as well.
It's true.
And
it's very true.
I mean, right now, the Marine and Marauder count is really high. Splash damage is not part of the equation here for Dark. It is just pure muscle. And Bunny playing very conservatively, by the way. He's showing a lot of respect to those Ravagers. Those siege tanks are so far back. So I would love to see the production tab and see exactly how close we are to centrifugal hooks. In fact, it might not even be...
He's going for Infestors, actually, as the defense. He's going to try to get some Infestor fungal off on this army. If those connect, that is absolutely going to help to destroy this army in combination with Vials as well. Could be huge on this Vial. Trying to set up a flank now is Dark, going on the left side as well, trying to get some of those Vials to connect. Gets a few little shots, but not really anything super huge just yet. The first fungal does get dodged. Only a few bio units getting hit by that one. That's a very crucial micro situation there for Bunny to be able to win out on this nice little counterattack. Should interrupt things for a little bit, but the third base is actually under siege here. It's going to get killed off, sniped by the bio before the transfuses can come down. And now Bunny finding a situation to really push into this area here.
Yeah, I mean, the bio is very bruised, but Dark, his economy is basically back at the Stone Age. He's hardly mining off that 4th base at all. Mineral income is really suffering here as more biles rain down, and maybe there is a world that he's able to stabilize, but this composition is so flimsy. It is mostly Ravager. There are only a handful of roaches, although reinforcements are on the way. And Bunny's, we're about getting to the point where Bunny is going to need to lift up his command center and draw it down to the 3rd base, because with 40 SCVs, he is not mining that efficiently, but let's hold that thought right now. Bio stimming forward. Biles basically scattered all the way across. Every single one of them gets dodged. One siege tank does go down, but Army Supply is still favoring the Terran, and when Zerg is on Roach Ravager, that is not what you want to see.
Yeah, this is getting really tricky here for Dark. The Biles really need to find some kind of connection. And a couple of those medevacs are very low, but they are also low on energy. And so every stim now from the Terran player is going to get more and more difficult to deal with. +2 also about to finish here, but he doesn't even really have any melee units for that to do anything with, so it's not really that big of a deal that is finishing. It's really all on these Ravagers trying to get these connections, forcing the Terran player away as much as possible. Nice connections there, finally getting a couple of those medevacs, but is that a step too forward as Bunny now just goes right in and will take this first game versus Dark?
And Bunny just going for the jugular right there, and I mean, part of the reason why that fell apart for Dark and that final hold is because the 3rd hatchery went down. And when that hatchery goes down, yes, +2 melee attack was done. He didn't have the larva. The queens have to be in the front. They have to assist in the fight. They have to try and pick off medevacs. They have to transfuse. They have to tank. They're not injecting, and he's basically on 3 hatch. You know, maybe he had 1 or 2 queens in the main of the natural getting some injects off, but I guarantee in that kind of high-stress situation, it's not 100% of the time. It is not optimal. And so Dark investing all these resources in, you know, +2 melee attack and really not getting an opportunity to use it. Same with centrifugal hooks there on the banelings. I don't even know if we saw a single baneling that map.
There were 2. I saw 2, and they didn't really do anything.
I mean, Bunny just really putting him up against the ropes, and whether it was intentional or not, that Link speed was delayed so long in that game number 1. I doubt we're going to see the same approach here from Dark in game number 2, as now it is match point. Dark 1 map loss away from being eliminated in the round of 16. I can't believe I'm saying it, Gemini. Let's see if Bunny can win this next game and book his ticket to the final match.
On the top left, playing for Talon Esports, it is Dark. Bottom right, Bunny playing for, what is he playing? Is it Mystery Gaming, or did he leave that team? I can't actually remember.
There's so many team changes. I have a hard time.
Keeping up with it,
man.
Ones right now? I actually forgot to look. Wow, what a terrible caster I am, State. Jesus, what am I doing here? Forgot one team. Oh.
The golden rule is if you don't know, you don't say anything.
Oh my god. Unbelievable.
It's all right.
Ooh, a pool first, though, out of Dark as well.
Oh, yeah, it is a pool first. Wait, what's going on here?
Might be expecting some kind of 2-racks, because this is the map. Also, Site Delta was game 2. That's the one where he also did the 2-racks behind the natural.
You redeemed yourself already.
I'm so knowledgeable. Look at that. Is he going to check for it? Oh, he doesn't check for it. That would have been so cool if he did.
I mean,
but he's going pool first anyway, so it doesn't.
It's pool
really
first,
need to, I guess.
and also the Overlord patterns are really good for scouting for proxy barracks, I must say.
True.
I feel like the majority of the locations you would proxy in, these Overlords would probably find them.
I just find it funny, though, because it was, like, literally behind his mineral line in the natural, where the 2 barracks were, and he...
Oh, is that where they were?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They were literally behind... It was on this spawn, so it was behind, like, by the gases or whatever.
Yeah.
That's where the 2 barracks were. So, but he didn't even bother checking, even though he went, Ravager.
Let's go.
Roach Ravager.
All right.
A nice, spicy early all-in. These 2 players saw that tech delay and was like, hey, don't worry, guys. I got you covered. We're getting this right back on track.
We got a timetable.
We're getting some quick games to counteract that, and here we go.
This is not the German train system. Things will run on time. I swear. Yeah, so I wonder how committed this is going to be for Dark. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the kind of situation where, I mean, it's Dark, so I guess I wouldn't be surprised by anything with how we decided to play it. But this might just be, a couple of Ravagers, a couple of Roaches, biling down the wall, sieging the natural expansion, and macroing behind it. Because, given the new Cyclone, should Bunny follow up with Cyclones, that does really well against a lot of early aggression Zerg can throw your way, especially, the all-ins. It's harder to make that happen as a Zerg player compared to previous patches. And so I'm not sure Dark is going to risk it all here in the elimination match on match point. I'm expecting this to just mostly be Roach Ravager pressure with droning behind it, and he's already starting 3 drones.
Yep.
I'm so smart.
You are just the smartest person in the world. God, are you even a Protoss player? God, I could have sworn you were reserved by that. Good lord. Look at these 2 Protoss players analyzing the crap out of this TVZ right here. God, we are so good.
I mean, it's Dark. You might as well be casting a Protoss player, to be honest with you. This guy is...
This is a very Protoss strategy that we have thrown out here by this Zerg player, that's for sure.
He's got a lot of tricks under his sleeve. But, I mean, Bunny with pretty much the perfect response right now. The bunker, it is late, so not ideal exactly. But with 2 Cyclones already underway, with perfect control there, dodging biles, he should be able to handle this. And Dark, I almost called Bark. Bark. He really wants to take down this reactor.
Up that ramp.
He really wants to take down this reactor before the second Cyclone pops. And he might have had a chance for it, but Repair coming through and time that Cyclone a little bit low on HP, but Bunny with some nice conservative micro able to keep it alive. That should pretty much, be the nail in the coffin here on this attack, because the Cyclone just so good at thwarting this kind of early aggression play. Man Center will get lifted, but behind it, Dark Key is not all in. You might be looking at this and thinking, okay, Bunny is going to finish parrying this attack, and then the game will be his to win, but not quite. This is pretty much going as Dark is expecting it. He's getting a lot of idle time here on these SCVs. The second command center, notably, not only is it not mining from, but also there is no SCV production, so Dark is also inching ahead in work production as this comes along. And taking down the reactor is just the icing on the cake here for Dark.
This is also pretty nice micro out of Dark.
I was so close. I was so certain that Cyclone was going down, man. That bile
Good micro from both players.
Yeah, that was almost like a frame-perfect dodge right there from Bunny. This guy's been playing a lot of Tekken or something. I don't know.
He almost sniped it earlier with just the Ravagers and Roaches attacking the Cyclone too. And he's been keeping these Ravagers alive for about as long as possible. At this point, you probably should just be coming home with them. I'd be amazed if that bile actually landed, but yeah, it should definitely come on home with these. No,
are they
just suicide them?
Gonna survive? I mean, those vials were so perfectly timed. Bunny basically had to dodge every single one of them to keep moving across the map. And yeah, this is a great game for Dark thus far. You know, he has 42 drones to 34 SCVs. He's continuing to power back at home, getting his lair, taking an additional hatchery. And although this isn't quite the most standard game, standard is not Dark's element. So he is very happy to be playing from this position. And I mean, that's even to say that he doesn't, Bunny has no tricks up his sleeve. The entire hand has been shown because he needed to show everything really to stop the attack that Dark was throwing at. I don't know why I keep blending words together. This is longer than GSL. This is longer than GSL usually goes. I woke up too early this morning, man. I am.
It's fine, man.
I am too aged for this.
You're too old. You're such a boomer gamer. You lost a Classic in Pro League 20 years ago, and now it's all coming back. Oh, I understand. He's still in the group, and you're like, oh god, no, he's not dead yet.
All right, well, Bunny with a nice little cute move here. Landing this Viking, trying to stop as much money as he possibly can. The Viking will go home, and just kind of taking inventory here of both players' situations. Dark with really a healthy economy going back into the Roach Ravager composition. So it seems like this is kind of the style he wants to play here against Bunny. And notably, he's also not going into melee attack as he did in the previous game, this time emphasizing range. So he is really leaning into the Roach Ravager this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it is really his bread and butter. Like, yeah, like you said, he doesn't really play that standard when it comes to it. Like, you know, you think of Cyril, you think of Raynor as these super solid standard Zerg, you know, trendsetters essentially. Dark is really just kind of out here doing his own thing sometimes. And I mean, Roach Ravager, yes, is, you know, other Zergs do that. It's not like the most unheard of thing in the world, but he really does love going for it more often than not. It is really something he likes. He loves going in for that mid-game infester, the very fast infesters compared to normal. So, you know, this is something that just like is pretty comfortable for him. He's feeling very good in this game, I imagine. He gets the early damage. He delays the natural from mining for so long. Now he's able to set himself up pretty freely, just kind of batting away the light pressure of a Viking here, a Banshee there, and just kind of setting himself up pretty decently right now. Bunny, on the other hand, is the one that's going to have to now find a way to really crack the egg of Dark at this point, because he has not really found much of a counter damage after that initial push, and so it's going to be up to him to find out what he can do.
Is it though? Because Dark's been sitting at 66 drones for a quick minute here, and there are a lot of roaches on the map right now, Gemini.
It's quite a lot.
I think he's just going to try and pulverize this third base location.
So now he has to decide if he wants to defend the third or
the Banshee hasn't seen it yet even. Bunny does not know this is coming. In a perfect world, Bunny would have that Banshee attacking Ravagers right now and basically putting a clock on this attack. He has no clue. The Banshee is still idle in the middle of the map, but Dark moved around on the side. He's coming in right now. Biles dropping down. Now Bunny, he is stimming forward, but the first siege tank has already fallen to the Biles. The Roaches, they have +1 armor. They are tanking this right here in the front. SCV's getting pulled. The second tank is also going to fall.
This is pretty clinical here for Dark, but I mean, Bunny is still able to push it back on the back end of it. Only losing 6 SCVs in this attack. There's a lot of Roaches still coming across on the reinforcements here, though, so it's still not over, but I am actually pretty impressed with how well Bunny was able to defend that in the end.
Yeah, especially considering he basically got caught with his pants down. He had no idea this was moving across the map, but the tank count did get reset down to 2. A third siege tank just popped. A couple of SCVs did go down. And notably also, the Banshee died to a Bile during all of that. And so that's a lot of sustained damage that Bunny could have uncontested that is basically out of the equation. And that means that Dark has a little bit more of a window here to get something done. But this time, coming in from this angle, siege tank placement just a little bit too good.
Yeah, I mean, delaying the gas mining is also still really annoying, though, for Bunny. It's going to delay any sort of extra tech he's going to try to go for, of course. Like you said, the tank count getting reset is very important. Going against Roach Ravager, you really want to make sure you have that back line of tanks set up, so that way, if they do try to dive onto you, then you're just constantly shelling them with those tank shots from afar. So Very important to try and keep those alive as the game goes on here. Bunny now trying to get some more pressure off into the middle of the map. We'll catch a couple random Ravagers and get a giant highway of creep clear. That was actually great. One creep tumor only was spreading all of that, so it gets all of that cleared. And the queen count doesn't seem like it's super high either, so it's not going to be able to get replenished super easy here. But Dark is just going to go right back in again, trying to go for another attack here. Will Bunny be able to defend this time?
Yeah, there is not a lot of defense there at the third base. A lot of the forces for Bunny are here at the natural expansion. That's actually some quite good position because it means that he's able to isolate a lot of these Ravagers on the top side. And the third base is sustaining a lot of damage. Dark trying to break through the top, and he actually might have done it. That's another siege tank going down. There's only one siege tank on the board here for Bunny. And what looked like it might be a good engagement on the top side, suddenly the dominoes just start falling after that third base collapses under the pressure. And Dark, with just pure power, is getting so much damage done right now.
What a swift and just precise attack that was from Dark. Got defended the initial time, was like, you know what, no, I'll just drone up a little bit more, just get a few more Roach Ravagers. I'm just going to do it straight again anyway. You were able to defend, but not enough for me to then to dissuade me from doing it anymore. So he goes back in yet again, jumps on the army, completely negates the third base, and now he's just going to be able to be in full control anytime that we try to go back down onto this third base as Bunny. Dark is just going to jump right on top of him yet again.
Yeah, I'm not sure Bunny's able to move down this ramp and try and secure this. This is almost a pure Ravager army, by the way. This looks ridiculous, but the Biles, Dark is one of the best in the world at landing Biles. That command center very close to going down. Just a smidgen of HP left. Now there is a drop at the top part of the map here for Bunny, so a little bit of counterattack is going on, but the third command center is going to fall. In the end, what does it matter that you damage this hatchery, that you kill maybe a handful of drones? It eventually gets cleaned up and you can't thwart this army.
Yeah, this is looking real bad for Bunny here. I mean, he's going to be down over almost 70 supply at this point. He's going to try to go for some kind of counterattack, forcing these Ravagers back as the reinforcements aren't quite grouped up just yet. We'll be able to get some of them, but what is he really expecting to do with this when all of the Roaches are still going to be coming back from the other side? Dark is about to be maxed yet again, and Bunny can barely get over 100 supply.
This is an insane arc on the top of this ramp. As soon as those Ravagers pop, all right, let's see Bunny trying to push forward. The huge links around coming in from the flank. Able to surround one of the siege tanks. Biles raining down. All the tanks in the front do fall. And with it, Bunny's hopes of winning this game. Dark has tied the series up 1-1.
Clinical from Dark. That was the type of game that we want to see out of him. If you are a Dark fan, wanting to see him continue on in this and not just bow out 0-2 in the round of 16, this is what you are wanting to see. Very nicely done. We want to see more of that type of aggressive play out of Dark. He is that type of player that really likes to go for those types of weird strategies. He'll throw in a Roach Ravager opener here and there. Even if he usually does it in the mid game, he'll do it right from the beginning as well. And it caught Bunny off guard. He was able to control the game going on into the later stages and just do a precise, clean attack. And Bunny couldn't do anything.
Bunny was close to holding, but close doesn't cut it here at the GSL. Now both of these players, Dark and Bunny, are one match win away. The winner of this upcoming map is going on to the winners match for a chance at redemption. The loser is out of the Code S. And again, this is Dark versus Bunny.
I still can't believe Dark is in the losers match.
In the losers match. Out of this world.
Just, I don't know, it's so wild that we're even still possibly saying that Dark could be bowing out 0-2 right now. I mean, that game was absolutely excellent, and it was exactly what we needed to see, like I was saying, but, you know, it's still just one map that he has to lose. Anything could happen at this point. It could be an unscouted 2-Rax that just, you know, just like the game I was talking about before, that just completely shuts him out and throws him out of the GSL. Anything could happen at this point, and so Dark really needs to make sure that he doesn't fumble this, because a lot of people, a lot of Zergs are looking for him in Korea to be like that leading Zerg player, essentially, to bring them, you know, some solid wins, some hope, etc. So, you know, it's a bit scary if you're a Dark fan.
I'm hearing now from production that it seems like there might be some kind of sound issue right now on the YouTube channel. Apparently some viewers are saying that they don't have any sound, so hopefully we're not just barking into the void right now through this. But yeah, the GSL, they are aware of it. They are working on it. We're probably going to take a short break and see if we can get that issue resolved.
And that'd be unfortunate if they can't hear us at all. That's like, you know, kind of the whole point of this whole thing. They're supposed to hear what we're saying. That'd be really tragic if they couldn't do that. So
yeah,
that'd be nice to get fixed. But
I think we might actually not be going to a break. We might just be going right back into this next game as the lights have dimmed and the players are looking like they're ready.
It looks like Dark was having some problem with some of his audio as well, but that got resolved pretty quickly as well. So,
man, what is going on today? I must say, we usually have no tech issues at all. This thing, as you said, we were in a tight ship, but were you sabotaging? Were you sabotaging the computers before you came in, Gemini?
All part of my grand plan.
All right, guys. Final match here in the losers match. Loser of this map is out of the GSL. Let's get to it. In the bottom left, the blue Zerg Dark here in the losers match against his opponent Bunny, the red Terran in the top right. I do sound like a broken record, but this is just, I cannot believe the way that this group has panned out, frankly. The fact that one of these players is going to be knocked out here in the round of 16 after some stunning international performances, after frankly dominating the GSL over the past couple of years. It's been quite a shakeup, but to start off a GSL season, you know, sometimes it's those kind of shakeups that really lead to a fun storyline. I think back to, you know, GSL last year when Mario was the first player eliminated in Group A.
Yep.
Even losing to Scarlet. That was you know, something that you do not expect. And it is sometimes fun when the top dogs get knocked out early, like a Mario, like a Dark,
hey man,
like
that
a Bunny.
Stats Dark series was all super fun. If you want to
Yeah,
ask me,
I'm telling you.
I had a fun time watching that.
Sometimes, like, for these other players that it feels like, you know, they flounder sometimes the round of 8 or even the round of 16 to suddenly rise up and take down these top dogs and start to fight their way deep into the playoffs. I mean, those are the kind of moments that these players will eventually look back as, you know, the shining times in their career. It's the kind of thing that you carry with you for a lifetime. So, love to see shakeups like this. Love an underdog story. Even though, I mean, Dark and Bunny, one of these players getting eliminated just still blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what, I always think about this too, because like I was, you know, I played a lot of video games. I was the one
Did
that,
you, Gemini?
I wanted to be a little pro gamer, you know, there was a little pro gamer me at one point trying to, you know, go full time, and I'm just like always thinking like, God, what would it actually feel like to win a tournament? You know what I mean?
Couldn't tell you.
Like, hey man, you didn't need to throw yourself on the butt. I wasn't going in that direction, all right? You didn't have to do that, but you know, sure, anyways. But no, it's like I can't even imagine how much it would, like, what it would feel like. Just the raw emotion you must feel, being able, like, on the stage, everyone just like going absolutely nuts. Just knowing that like you did it. You're like at the end. You don't have another match you have to play. You don't have another series to prep for. You just did it. You won the whole thing. Like, God, that must feel so crazy.
I think all of us are envying the lifestyles of these guys on stage right now a little bit. All right, let's see how these openings are shaking out. Double Hellion opening here for Bunny after the early command center. Reaper not able to get too much done. Interesting to me that Bunny hasn't really deviated from this opening at all so much this series. He loves the Hellions early, occasionally Cyclones. I mean, that frankly might have just been a response to the Roach Ravager that pushed him there in game number 2. And actually gearing up with a Marauder.
It's going to be Hellbat Marauder.
Yeah, it might be.
He actually did this as well recently, I saw. I think it was also the Stars War qualifier last night where he was doing this against, I think it was Solar that he was playing against in that series. Where, yeah, it's with one Viking as well, and he's going to go for some really cheeky attack. It actually ended up working. It didn't look like it was going to work, and then it ended up working anyway. So we're looking to see, there's the concussive shells, we're looking to see where that armory is getting placed down. I mean, if he doesn't put it down, I'm going to lose my mind.
I love that little tiny tactic by Bunny, by the way. He canceled the Marauder and restarted it just to be absolutely certain the Overlord could not scout that he is going for the strategy. He wants to keep this as secret as possible. Just as you said, Gemini, Armory underway right now. And we think back to game number 1 and game number 2. What was the composition that Dark was running in both of those games? Roach Ravager. What are Marauders pretty good at? Killing roaches, man.
What
That's
are Hellions
their
good
job.
Killing lings. Everything's covered with the strategy. Surely it's a perfect one. surely nothing can happen. He's got the perfect counters to everything, right?
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's something like a blind counter, but in terms of build order selection, if this is Bunny adapting to the playstyle that Dark has been showcasing over this entire series, I really like this as a tactic. I mean, that's the kind of adjustment on the fly that you expect from a top player. And so for Dark right now, he's at 39 drones. He's not droning much forward. He's actually going for a Roachling counterattack of his own. So both players right now are building these armies, trying to gear up for their own attack. And here we go. Bunny through the first one coming in. The Hellbats are transforming. Force 2 Queens get immediately bopped right there in the center, but there's only a handful of Marauders with this one. Now I guarantee they're a shift click down on these Roaches, trying to get as much damage done. Will Dark have enough? Even on only 39 drones, it's looking very close right now, Gemini.
Yeah, this is actually extremely close here. Usually you want to try to get the Hellbats on top of the drone lines to be able to really deny the Zerg's economy, but there's so many units out right here that Dark has already destroyed his own economy to defend the push to begin with. So you want to try to clear out the Roaches, get on top of everything later. That's what he's trying to do now, is Bunny. But, I mean, Dark is defending this. He did go, I mean, he must have pieced something together. Whether or not maybe he was trying to attack in the first place, maybe up to debate, but he might have sniffed something out as well to be able to defend, to prepare for this. And he just had so many units ready that he just destroys the push and is now able to walk across the map himself. The Banshee on the back end from Bunny is a great play, though, because there's not going to be any anti-air to deal with that right now. But it's still going to be a lot of units here from Dark. He's forced to run away from this natural.
Yeah, the bunker isn't done just yet, and also a little bit of unfortunate positioning here for Bunny as the Hellbats are in the back and the Marauders in the front. This natural expansion taking a ton of damage right now, but I mean, these are slow Roaches. These Marauders can kite for days on this army, and the reinforcements for Dark, there aren't many coming. He's queuing up a couple more drones, a couple more lings. He might be just fully committing to this attack.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a couple of drones coming in right at the back end there, so he might be having second thoughts about how much he wants to commit here. But, I mean, was that really what the damage he was hoping for that counterattack?
I don't think so.
It felt like he really wanted to get some huge counter blow. At least, like, force the CC to lift and, like, fully evacuate or something, because I don't feel like that was what he wanted.
Right. And in the later stages of that attack, he was still building Roaches and Lings too. It felt like he wanted to keep committing, and then just the attack completely floundered on the front line. And really the surprising thing for me too is that Bunny held on defensively back at home with a third command center underway. So his economy is about to be very online. He's adding 2 additional barracks, he's adding 2 engineering bays, and with a lair only just now, close to completion, with no evolution chambers on the map just yet, no upgrades underway here for Dark. After that attack, frankly, failed so hard, Bunny is going to have a huge window with +1 infantry weapons and +1 armor to punish the aggression of Dark.
I mean, even just these 2 Banshees are already finding use of that window as well, even splitting them up here to keep both of them alive away from the Queens. Excellently done by Bunny. Oh, just barely! Just loses that one just at the end. Nice try to try and keep both of them alive, but unfortunately will lose one out anyway. But great counter damage already, getting 6 drones with those 2 Banshees. Excellently done by him. And like you said, the third CC is already finished, so that's going to start pumping out SCVs. That's going to start getting mules out as well. So the economy for Bunny is actually going to be looking pretty decent here. And with 0 anti-air, except for some of those Queens, he's free to go forward with these drops as well.
Yeah, Bunny is going to have potentially a 30 or 45 second window with +1 infantry weapons before Dark is able to start slowing him down and matching on those upgrades. So I think that is where Bunny is going to try and find his timing if he wants to go for some kind of game-ending blow, but also in the position that he's in after killing additional drones with those Banshees, after getting pretty substantial damage done, even if it was just defending the attack back at home. If Bunny wanted to, he could also just kind of hunker down and play for a macro game. It really is his game to play at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing what he can here with these medevacs and the Marauders, and we're not trying to deny creep here and there, trying to just keep Dark contained with whatever he can. You don't want to let the Zerg just willingly spread everything on the map. You want to keep it as contained as possible. Make it a little bit difficult for the Zerg player. And like I said before, the anti-air isn't really there, so it's very easy for Bunny to really go for those types of moves wherever he pleases. The thing is that he might be wanting to use his CC energy a bit more for mules. We'll drop a scan here to get this nice large bit of creep tumor clearing here. So that's actually a lot. Doesn't quite get that one, but overall still pretty decent. But you do kind of want to still get some of that mule income coming, so he might not have too many scans to throw around here and there to really clear out a lot of the creep, but that one was actually a well-placed one, getting a lot of creep tumors. But, I mean, the game will pretty stabilize at this point. It's going to be going later on into the game. We've got the extra tech coming in, the infestation pick coming for Dark. So he's likely, yeah, he's already got the infestors on the way as well. So going for that normal Roach Ravager infestor play that he really loves so much in this mid-game.
Gotta say, I am scared for Dark, though, because he knows that he's a little bit up against the ropes, and there is a lot on the line. If he loses this game, he is out of the GSL Code S. And you really don't want to over-drone and get eliminated from a push. So he's been staying on a relatively low drone count. He's now worked his way all the way up to 72, but he's done it very incrementally. He's been working out a couple of units here and there. And what does he have to show for it? He has 88 army supply to 111. And a lot of Dark's army is in Roaches and Ravagers, which are not very supply efficient. So I think if we want to see Dark win this game, if we want to see him hold on against this push, he is going to need some miracle fungals from those two infestors, because Bunny's army is massive right now, and Dark is actually going for a huge counterattack.
Yeah, this has got to do a lot of damage here for Dark if he wants to find this. And Bunny retreating with this as well. That's exactly what Dark wants to see here, as a lot of units getting pulled back. Because this is, I mean, this is a lot of lings. He absolutely needs to respect this. Bunny was not planning on going all in with this push. He has a fourth base getting set up. He wants to continue with this game. He's not trying to just kill Dark. If it does kill it, that's great, obviously, but he needs to come back to defend against that. Nice fungal picking off some of those units there. Oh, nice little split off, as even though they're very slow on that movement with the fungal, he was still able to dodge that bile set right there, so very nicely done. Dark doing his best here to stay into this game. That was a crucial run by that needed to happen for him to not just instantly die.
All right, another attack coming in here for Bunny. Fungal should be able to catch all that bio. That's a pretty big chunk of army getting taken out right here, and I mean, it kind of feels like Dark is trying to chip away at a mountain in terms of working hard against this army, but these are the trades that he needs to make if he wants to come back in this game, because Bunny right now is sitting at 140 army supply. 2-2 is about to finish. He already has +2 infantry weapons. Those siege tanks have +1 vehicle weapons as well, so his army is such a punch. Bailings come in. Bunny does spot it, so he shouldn't be losing too many SCVs at all. Oh, in fact, burrowing there under the siege tank.
Did he realize?
Yeah, Dark is trying every trick in the book right now.
Did he realize that happened? I don't know if he was actually paying attention to see those things burrow right there. He might have been looking at the front with his army. He's going to try to go into this natural here. Does lose some of those bio units. Luckily, those medevacs weren't too far forward to die to those bios. Okay, thankfully, he was looking at those banelings at that third base, so he does not just suddenly lose 20 SCVs to them. Very nicely done. But now the Vipers are out, so we'll be able to get Blinding Clouds off on these tanks, allowing Dark to try and get into this engagement here. Doesn't quite force him away just yet, but still, I mean, actually, I don't even think these trades are even that good for him at this point.
Oh, those bailing hits are really good, though, Gemini, and he gets even more. Dark somehow is finding a way to win these engagements, where Bunny has eclipsed him in army supply, and for the first time in what feels like minutes, Dark is starting to stabilize back at home. Now 86 army supply to 87. It is dead even, and Dark is starting to unlock all of the high-tech units. He's getting his Vipers out. He is getting his Infestors out. He has done everything he is needed to do to chip away at the Terran army, and finally he has thwarted it. There are no more siege tanks on the map. The army is pure Marine Marauder medevac.
I can't believe he actually got those Baneling connections. That was like, that felt so out of left field. It felt like he was getting whittled down so quickly, and I mean, Bunny was on top of the micro the entire time in all those engagements. To suddenly then just get hit in the face with all those Banelings is, like you said, it just completely stunted everything. And then the bio is on top of the tanks. This is looking now quite drastic for Bunny. It really has to find some extra damage here and force off some of these bases to get killed off. I mean, it is good for him, though, that he was able to kill that base before that engagement even happened, so it has forced Dark still onto an awkward economy, but he is someone that thrives in that position. He is able to maneuver these weird late-game army or late-game situations with strange armies, with low econs, so this will still be somewhat in the comfort zone of Dark, and so it's definitely catering more towards him at this point, but Bunny needs to find something now to go into this later game.
Dark now finally close to max supply, throwing down an Ultralisk Cavern, trying to gear up for his next transition. as the game quiets down a little bit. Bunny only sitting on 51 workers, so once again, it seems like he is trying to just amass an army. He's no longer producing SCVs. He's not going for 3-3. I hesitate to call this at all in, but Bunny is trying to end the game right now. He does not want to let Dark get out of control. He knows how good Dark is in the late game. As you said, Gemini, it's what thwarted him in the qualifiers in game number 1 there. And now he's up against the ropes again, and Dark with a great surround, able to pick off a good number of that buy, or at least damage it. And once that Ultralisk Den is underway and Dark has every single tool in his tool belt at its disposal, I'm just really liking the way this game is shaping up for him. And I'm still dumbfounded by the fact that he was able to work his spellcasters and his army control well enough to stabilize from a position where he was almost dead. I mean, look at this. He even catches the medevac with Fungal. This is the new patch Fungal. It doesn't have the range it used to have. I mean, Dark is the best spellcasting Zerg in the world, in my opinion. He is so good at handling these really finicky, awkward armies. He just does it so incredibly well, and now Bunny's at the ropes. This might be his last hurrah. He's at 50 SCVs, not going for 3-3, not going for additional vehicle weapons. He needs to win the game with this army, or at least do devastating damage if he wants this game to continue on.
Yeah, I mean, he has not made a single SCV since some of those other ones died earlier on in the game. He has been going full throttle to get the biggest army possible. Ling counterattack yet again, perfectly timed by Dark, right as Bunny is trying to siege up and get a forward position. Ling's backstabbing, Baneling's backstabbing, forcing Bunny to come back home. It is killing more SCVs, which, usually you would think about, oh, wow, that's so great. He's killing so much economy. But that still does also mean that Bunny's army is going to get even larger. So, yes, that's very good for a long game. But if Bunny can still find a very decisive attack with this gigantic army, he still has some chance.
Bunny working his way towards 160 army supply this early in the game is something we do not see very often here in a TBZ, and really, as you said, it will be the decisive engagement that decides who is going to be winning and who is going to be going home out of the GSL Code S. And Bunny, it seems like he's getting wise to these counterattacks. He has thrown down a sensor tower at the triangle third, has some Marines rallied there for protection. Planetary on the 4th base as well. And now that he might be stabilizing a bit at home, this might give Bunny the leverage he needs to really start to pressure through the front. And Dark, are you going to commit to this attack? That is a scary angle to attack into. But if you don't, it means that Bunny can actually go for this high-yield base.
That was kind of scary there for a second. I really thought Dark was just going to YOLO it into that choke point, and I was a bit scared for him there. But just using it, again, to delay and distract for another Ling counterattack, killing more SCVs, lifting 2 orbitals out of the ground as well. There's so little income right now for Bunny. This 4th base is really doing the heavy lifting here in terms of his economy. He's on 24 SCVs, but his army size is at an insanely large amount. It's at 160. Nice pickup there, keeping all those things alive. Oh my! But some of these medevacs might even just die from the Viper. What is that called? What is light?
Don't put me on the spot.
What?
Parasitic bomb.
Parasitic bomb. Oh my God! How can I even forget what that's called?
I mean, Bunny is lucky though that there wasn't a Fungal there. I actually don't think there are any more infestors lit on the map, so that is one less spellcaster Dark has available. His gas is hard for him to find after losing the high Vespian gas yield base there in the center of the map, as Bunny just continues to posture here in the middle. Still not producing SCVs. Bunny is down to 18 workers at home. I mean, this is almost unheard of in a TVZ in this stage, and yet he is still showing so much patience here in the middle of the map. He's waiting for the perfect opportunity to fight because he knows it just takes one moment. Now Dark moving a little bit too far forward there. He does get nice parasitic bombs. Actually, he's going to get a lot of medevacs. They're all clumping up. Oh. So many medevacs just went down.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty big for Dark here, as Bunny does take the opportunity, though, to walk over and kill the base. Doesn't want to step too far forward, though. That high ground position could be very difficult to engage up into. This is where he lost the fight last time, as well the exact same spot is going to happen again as the Banelings get ridiculous shots on all of the Marines. Bunny forced back again. Oh my, it's the same exact spot. It was exactly the same. History repeats itself yet again here, as Bunny cannot get up this ramp.
Bunny, it feels like no matter what army he assembles, no matter how low his worker count goes, he cannot crack the shell of Dark. He tried pushing up that choke point. The Ultras and the Banes ate him alive, and here comes Dark yet again. Blinding Cloud on the Siege tanks. The Ultras are pushing Bunny into a corner. He's gonna have to lift up and try and get out of here. Maybe go into the main base. No, just retreating back home. A little bit of indecision there. Finally now going into the main, but Bunny is sitting at 93 supply. I think Dark has done it.
What an absolutely crazy game here. Just like the most insane all-in of all, like the most long all-in. Dark finally finding it at the end there. Does not bow out.
Wow.
Still alive in this group.
That was an unbelievable match. I mean, Bunny going down to, what was it, 14 SCVs at the end there?
He had no
and
workers.
Still being almost maxed. That was absurd. What a series. We are getting treated today, man. Tasteless is missing out back here.
What a nerd, man. What a nerd missing out on these games. Oh, I just can't believe he tried going up the same spot again. And it was just like, I mean, the amount of patience you have to have as the Terran in that position is absurd. So, like, you have to get forced eventually. And it's just like, all it takes is that one moment. You just break it that one time, and suddenly you try to go for it, and you're like, oh, crap, I can't actually get up this position. And then you just get flooded by the Banelings, and it all comes tumbling down. Just unfortunate for Bunny that he just wasn't able to have enough patience. Unfortunately loses out.
Guys, when we get back, the final match of Group B, Dark versus Classic. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you soon.
Go ahead and take all your winnings, but one thing that you got to know, this is only the beginning. You never know where you may go, so hold on to the highs while you're alright, cause you know you're gonna come down, just a matter of time, and you will find everything comes back around, comes back around, comes back around, back around, comes back around, comes back around. So hold on to the highs while you're alright, cause you know you're gonna come down, just a matter of time, and you will find everything comes back around. So hold on to the highs while you're alright, cause you know you're gonna come down, just a matter of time, and you will find